Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the 3 Minute Horror Show. My name is Ben, I'm your host, and today I'll be interviewing the actress, producer, director, and voiceover artist, and not to mention the vice president of Acrostar Productions, Ann Myrna. Ann, I'm so glad you could be here to talk to my audience about your background, your career, and the projects that you're working on.
Well, I'm glad to be here, Ben.
Before we get started, would you like to give the audience a little background on yourself?
Sure. So I'm one of these people who has come into filmmaking later in life. I did plays when I was in high school, and that was a blast. I mean, I went to a small high school, so we did like one musical a year. But I had a lot of fun with that, and then went to college and got a degree and started working in information technology, and then raised a family and stuff. So I kind of put the artistic side of me to the side. And as my friends were coming up with bucket lists in their retirement years, I thought, you know what? I want to be on TV. That's one of the bucket list items. I live in the Chicago area, and they do a lot of filming of network TV shows in the area. So I worked as a background extra and kind of learned the ropes, took some classes, got some talent agents, and here I am today.
Wow, holy smokes. So what kind of work did you do in IT? I used to work in IT as well.
Well, this totally dates me, besides the fact that I talk about this as a kind of a retirement career. But I was a mainframe COBOL programmer when
Wow.
I graduated from college. Yeah, I lived in Dallas and worked for Texas Instruments. They used to recruit a lot of college kids from Midwest universities because
Yeah.
they assumed we had a good work ethic. And I guess we did. Um, and then kind of progressed from doing that to working with what used to be called case tools
Hmm.
um, that kind of helped productivity of programmers. So I kind of moved from doing some technical work to doing more sales work. So I was kind of the technical component of the sales team, and we would do demos at trade shows and get people to buy the software,
Hmm.
basically. And then as the internet started to evolve for businesses to use, I figured out how to code web pages.
Oh,
And
cool.
there weren't really any development tools at the time. So I would
Hmm.
just see a web page that I liked. I would download the source code and kind
Yeah.
of study it. And I mean, if you're an analytical person, you can kind of have fun doing that. I
Yeah,
don't
for
really have
sure.
that kind of
Yeah.
fun anymore. But yeah, so I did the boring nitty gritty stuff. I still do some web design for some folks, for some actors, and friends of mine and small businesses. But then I got, more interested in like breaking out of that technical nerd role and
Yeah.
looked into the filmmaking aspect. So I have not gone to film school. I'm not going to go to film school. I'm kind of learning the ropes as I go as a producer. And Steve Herman had asked me. I had kind of assisted on one of his productions because I had
Hmm.
auditioned for a role and I didn't get cast. And I just said, well, how else could I help? Because I knew he had a very small team, and it was a very small team because it was him doing everything.
Yeah.
So he said, well, come down to the shoot. It was a topic for a film that was based on bullying. And so he wanted me to interview the different cast members about their characters and their perceptions of bullying.
Hmm.
Then next time he asked me if I wanted to help him be a producer. And so I Googled that because I didn't really know exactly what a producer would do. And on an indie film, you kind of do whatever needs to be done.
Yeah.
So not at all like if I had gone to film school, I would learn there's all these different kinds of producers. Like, which kind am I? Well, you're all of the kinds when you work in indie film. So I may still enjoy like organizing things because that's a big thing that a producer does. But then I also really enjoy the acting aspect of being involved in filmmaking. So sometimes I have roles in the things that Acrostar produces, and sometimes I don't because I don't
Yeah.
fit any characters. But it's a lot of fun. I've gotten to meet some really, really wonderful people.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you always been a creative person, would you say?
I would say so, because like I started playing the piano when I was 5,
Yeah.
because my mother made me. But we had piano in the living room, and so I kind of kept up with that. I've always been into singing, but I didn't really do anything with that until, like say within the last 9 years.
Wow. What sort of things did you draw creative inspiration from when you were a child? Like, what did you like?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not creative like Steve Herman is creative. Like
Right.
he just gets ideas about stuff
Hmm.
just pop into his head, which he thinks is a curse. I think it's a blessing. So I'm not creative in that aspect,
Right.
but I think I'm good at, um, like taking an idea and expanding it
Hmm.
and maybe coming up with reasons why one solution to a problem would be better than another.
Yeah. Problem solving is a form of creativity on its own.
Yeah, and I think
Hmm.
that's where kind of the technical background kind of comes into play. Because
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
what you do is you solve problems and you look at alternatives and you pick one and see if it works.
Yeah, for sure. What kind of a kid were you, would you say?
Independent. We grew up like living way out in the country, so we would, play with rocks and sticks and, go for bike rides and stuff like that. I probably helped out around the house. I don't really remember like latching on to that. I'm sure my parents gave me, chores and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, when you wanted to take your first steps towards making your dreams of working in the movie industry come true, you talked a little bit about that, about approaching Steve and working as kind of a background producer on the bullying movie. What else did you do? Like, how else did you? What other steps did you take towards making that dream a reality?
Well, I learned a lot being an extra on the shows that they film in Chicago.
Okay.
I mean, those union shows, there's so much crew. I mean,
Yeah.
oh my God, and so much equipment. It's just it's just like you can't believe it takes that many people to put on a TV show. So I would, kind of observe because a lot of times when you're an extra, you're just sitting in a chair waiting
Yeah.
to do something.
Yep.
So I would kind of watch what was going on and then they had pulled me as a stand-in for Chicago Med because I look like one of the principal actors. So
Okay.
I got to learn, like, oh, for lighting and blocking purposes, you can have people just sitting around who just stand there and go through the motions so that the crew can get everything set up. Of course, we don't have stand-ins on our indie films, but
No.
I mean, the principal actors do the same thing. The job still has to be done. You have to block and you have to light. Um, so a lot of that, just kind of like how a production gets put together, I
Yeah.
learned from being an extra. And then on the acting side, I mean, I think I have some natural talent, but I did take, I've got kind of a list of courses on my acting resume, and those are very helpful, even, for brushing up. I
Yeah.
don't really have time right now to take another class, but I haven't taken a class for a
Yeah.
while, so I really should, because it helps you. Get rid of everything else that's on your plate
Hmm.
and just really focus on the craft of
Yeah.
acting, whether it's, auditioning for commercials, because I do some commercials, and it's a whole different kind of a feeling that you put into your acting because you have to be happy. I mean, there's commercials about really sad things, so you have to really smile big and kind of go over the top with your facial
Mm.
expression. A little more theatrical.
Yeah.
And I do still do some theater
Oh,
um,
nice.
because I had heard that one of the casting directors in Chicago liked to see theater on people's resumes, and I didn't
Yeah.
think it would be helpful from when I was 16 years old because they probably wouldn't even recognize the names of the plays that I was in.
Yeah.
So I do dabble in theater, and I'm associate board member for a community theater in the area.
Excellent. Well, I saw you in the Night of the Dead Sorority Babes. You were one of the witches, I guess, at the end.
Oh yes,
Um,
we were
yeah,
witches.
and you were very good in that one too, as an actor. So
Oh,
yeah,
thank
excellent
you.
work.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm normally not mean.
So, what was the first movie that you actually worked on? Let's say indie.
Yeah, the first indie movie was called something about Caesar. Oh, I'd have to pull up my acting resume. So I'm not even sure how I ran across this. Maybe there's a website called Backstage where I
Okay.
post casting calls.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not on that anymore, but yeah, it was a small film. We filmed in the town where I live, which was very convenient. A couple of scenes, but they actually had a premiere at a theater. Now, this
Yeah.
was 10 years ago. But some of the people that I met through that, I still do work with today.
Oh,
So
nice.
networking is oh so important.
It's
I mean, I used
huge.
to
Yeah.
think it's kind of like, oh, well, it's what like you got to have the knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have knowledge, but you also have to have the connections, and that really, really comes into play in the filmmaking world.
Absolutely. It's been crazy. Um, even the connections that I've made in the short year that I've been doing this, it's person to person to person to person. It's who you know.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And you never know when you're going to run into that person again,
yeah,
so I'm not into like drama about people. I
yeah,
mean, if I have a bad experience with someone and someone happens to ask me about what it's like to work with that person, I will
yeah.
say the experience was blah blah blah. But I'm not going to go, posting on social media,
No,
so and so, did this on set or whatever, like that's their problem. It's
yeah.
not really my
It
thing.
it helps that we're also a little bit more mature than some of the people out there.
Yeah.
So we get
Yeah,
the years
so
of
yeah, so
experience.
yeah, you just like I don't have time
Yeah,
for that
yeah.
nonsense.
I've already been through all that.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Let's talk a little bit about Acrostar Productions. As I mentioned before, you are the vice president of this company. Can you give us some background on what this company is?
Well, Steve Herman had started before I got involved
Okay.
as a writer, an independent writer. So he writes under the pen name S.J. Herman, and
Yep.
that's how you found him on socials. Um, and he wanted to turn some of his books into film.
Hmm.
And so I had run across him at that point in time, and he was just, like most really small indie filmmakers, there was no, actual business behind it. It was him doing stuff in his spare time. And so then I started talking to him about, maybe structuring it as a business because
Hmm.
before doing Acrostar, after working for Texas Instruments, I
Hmm.
formed my own consulting company, and so I would do the web design stuff under my own consulting company. So I did that for 30 years. So I knew you have to do a business tax return, and all the
Yeah.
nonsense, licensing, and all that kind of stuff. And so he and I decided to do that as partners. Um, and so, we're in it for real. We have a reputation to maintain. We're known for because he like never sleeps for quickly getting into editing, getting the film edited, and getting it released.
Yeah.
We release on various platforms, kind of depending on the nature of the film. But we have made some really great strides in terms of being connected with a distributor for getting the films out there. You can self-distribute as a filmmaker, and I mean, we could have a whole hour long, well, many hour long
Yeah.
conversation on how you get films out and how you make money as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
But I think we have found a very good partner in Bayview Entertainment. They have four of our films out. They will be the distributor for The Legend of Tinkerhell,
Hmm.
Perfect Soul. They have all the assets already and are prepping that for distribution. And then we got this other thing we're doing this summer that we've kind of announced, Revenge of the Corn Zombies.
Yeah.
Kind of just like a soft announcement of that on April Fool's Day with a little teaser video, and they're on board to distribute that as well. So I
Yeah.
think that, like being a business has allowed us to be able to approach people like Bayview because they want certain legal information,
Yeah.
like your employer ID number, and then, they, have also paperwork they require. So we do contracts with
Yeah.
actors. We don't just, send an email and say, hey, everybody wants to show up and I'll give you some cash on the way out.
Yeah.
You can operate like that. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with doing that. But
Right.
we're at the point where we have enough material out there to kind of build up our credibility. And
Hmm.
then with the formality of the business, being an LLC, I just think it really helps us to move forward and
Yeah.
upward.
Absolutely. When you have a standing like that, when you have a legitimate standing, um, people at distribution companies are going to see you less as a liability than they might see just some guy working out of his garage.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hmm. That makes a lot of sense. Now, what type of movies do you make at Acrostar? Are they all horror?
Horror and paranormal.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, some are not necessarily horror. And the unique thing about Steve is that he doesn't want to do fan films, even though
Yeah.
sometimes you can make money, even though you're not supposed to make money on fan films. Um, he likes original ideas, and he has so many original ideas.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can't even keep up with all the ideas. So I'll start like a Word document for each idea because it'll come up again and I'll be like, like I know you talked to me about it, but I can't remember anything about it. Because when I'm in like a real detailed phase, like now, we're really close to going into production for The
Yeah.
Legend of Tinkerbell. My head is in the nitty-gritty of that
Hmm.
script. I have to make sure we have every prop, every piece of set decoration. We're
Yeah.
prepared on the SFX. Is there anything else I need to order? Like I don't like waiting for the Amazon shipment to arrive before I get in the car to drive to set kind of thing. I would
Yeah.
rather be a couple days ahead of that.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I mean, our focus is on kind of those two things, and even so some of them get implemented as shorts,
Yep.
uh, but you can't really do a whole lot with shorts. Nobody wants to distribute them, for example,
Yeah.
like on platforms like Tubi. Um, some are web series, so they
Okay.
sit on our YouTube channel, and it's a series, and there's some connection between those different episodes, and then the features, which go through distribution.
Okay. If you want any of the links for your YouTube and all that kind of stuff, if you we can put them into the description of this channel, so folks, you can go down and look at all that stuff when we're done here.
Okay.
How did you meet up with Steve Herman initially? I don't think we talked about that yet.
Um, an acting friend of mine, Bill D.
Mhm.
Russell, and Bill has been an actor for a long time in the Chicago market. He went to Second City and studied improv, and he's done some
Mhm.
really cool things. Commercials for Blockbuster back in the day. Bill's got an incredible resume. I noticed that he was following Acrostar Films. So, part of it is like, where do you find these connections?
Yeah.
So, being an IT person, you could also maybe say a little bit of a stalker. I would go to people's profiles and see what other pages or groups they commented on or
Hmm.
interacted with or followed or whatever. So I stalked Bill, who was stalking Acrostar, and so then I started stalking Acrostar and just watching what they were doing because I had
Yeah.
done the extra work and I had done some student films and I didn't really have. I mean, I had some fun doing some student films, but they don't go anywhere. And
Right.
sometimes the kids don't even finish the darn thing, like they said they would give you the footage and they don't give you the footage. And so I was trying to get away from student films and into independent films.
Yeah.
I'm not really interested in like trying to do SAG projects or whatever. Chicago's
Yeah.
not a good market to be SAG. Uh, so yeah, that's kind of how I came across Steve Herman as I started following Acrostar Films, and then he happened to have an audition for a person a little younger than me, but I thought I was close,
Yeah.
and so then I got to know him a little better, and then when I asked if I could help and do those interviews on set and stuff, I got to see that he was somebody who was going to finish what he started, and that's
Good.
another thing that unfortunately, is unique. There are many people who start making films, and because it looks cool, it looks fun, and maybe you've been in them before, so I'm going to make my own. And
Yeah.
people start with like a really complicated feature.
Hmm.
I don't know, man, you got to start small
Yeah.
and figure out where you need assistance and where you need support. And yeah, sometimes those things require money, but sometimes they just require networking and a partnership. And
Yeah.
so it's not like I got paid to go to Steve's set and interview his cast members. No, that's not what I was interested in. I was
Yeah.
interested in meeting those people, finding out what the film was about, and helping move that film forward a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. And then the rest is history, right? You guys
Yeah.
hit it off there.
Yeah, he's the idea person, and I'm the organizer between the two of us. Every
And
now and then I have an idea, and
everybody needs somebody
sometimes they're
like
not
that.
bad. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're complementary.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I don't ever have any ambitions to write anything.
Yeah.
I write marketing material,
Hmm.
but I don't write stories.
It's so it's so rare to see someone who is a creative also have the organizational skills like that. So it's
Yeah.
good to find a partnership.
Well, a lot of times the organization for him is in his head,
Yeah.
but I need to help him implement that, I need to know what's
Yeah.
in his. So, I ask a million questions. I have to write things down. I put things in spreadsheets
Yeah.
because that's how I think. But then I can see, like in working out the filming schedule for The Legend of Tinkerbell, we have a large cast. So I think
Hmm.
I think my numbers on the top of the spreadsheet go to 28, something like that. Because, like extras, like that's a group of people
Yeah.
that has to be scheduled. Yeah, there's just a lot of different things. So I put like the people across the top, and then I do the scenes coming down, and then I'll put, like an X under each person if
Yeah.
they're in that particular scene, so that I can kind of see like who has the bulk of the scenes, who is just there for a little bit. Can I group the shooting days for the people who are just in a few scenes
That makes a
together?
lot of sense.
Yeah, so I try to make the schedule convenient, but I can't make it convenient for 27 different people.
Right.
There are going to be inconveniences, and as an actor, you just need to understand that. I mean, unless you're working with somebody who's just shooting weekends only,
Yeah.
then like you only show up when you have to show up. But
Yeah.
to do that kind of filming style, you have to work with people who are local to you. And
Yeah.
we try to bring in people who are known, like Mel Heflin that you had on. Like
Yeah.
Mel is very well known in the horror industry, and we love her to death. She is an actor who works at more than just being that character.
Yeah.
He will help out in a million different ways.
Yeah.
That's another good way for actors to, kind of branch out and really solidify some of the connections that they make is, look beyond your little bubble that you're in,
Hmm.
and see the big picture. Maybe you can't help with the big picture right now, but if you start to learn about the big picture and at least see it rather
Yeah.
than thinking, all I have to do is show up and get paid. Um, like those people are fine, but it's really special when you find somebody who will go
Yeah.
a little beyond.
Someone who's passionate about the project that they're making is passionate so much, in fact, that they're willing to make a whole bunch of stuff for all the cast members to make them happy and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And even
She's great.
helping out with things like, like we have to eat every day. And so
Yeah.
like I cook the food and, help out in the kitchen, help pick up the dirty dishes or whatever. All that little stuff counts.
Marcus is so happy that he got connected with you guys too.
Marcus is really cool.
He's him and
Yeah.
I
The first
became
time I
friends.
met him face
Yeah.
to face, he didn't mention this in the interview, but we
Yeah.
needed for one of the Splintered Love episodes for
Hmm.
Acrostar, we needed to rip a heart out of somebody's chest.
Yeah.
And I knew of Marcus, but I hadn't really interacted with him. But I
Yeah.
had seen some of the stuff that he makes. Like he is an artist extraordinaire.
He sure
Oh my
is.
God. So I'm like, I hit him up a messenger, hey Marcus, could you make me a heart? And he's like, sure, yeah. And then he didn't want to mail it. Well, I had to make four, like just in case.
Yeah.
Because you never know when you're going to need more than one heart. But I mean, they're beautiful. I mean, they're
Yeah.
just like so accurate. They're amazing. And he, taught me how to like slime it up and stuff like that. So he didn't want to mail it, and he lives about 2 hours away from me.
Hmm.
And so we're like, do you want to meet like halfway, like at McDonald's or something? So I dragged my daughter with. We go to this random McDonald's in the middle of nowhere, Illinois, and didn't have a cheeseburger with a box of artificial hearts on the table.
He's great. Him and I were friends before I started even making YouTube videos, just from some
Oh,
weirdo
cool.
movie group on Facebook. And
Okay.
then so when I started doing the channel, he said, why don't you have me come on and I'll do an interview with you, and then maybe you can make connections and interview other people." And
Oh,
Marcus
yeah.
is the catalyst for the whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
He's a great guy.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
awesome.
Marcus. And did
And
you
he'll
know
be
that
on
he?
set with us for Revenge of the Corn Zombies as well.
Yeah. Did you know that he's red-green colorblind too? So he can't see the blood that yeah.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
It's
Wow.
incredible that he can
Oh
make
my
blood look
gosh.
so realistic and not be able to see the color.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My brother is red green colorblind too. And
Yeah.
yeah, he can't pick out his clothes to save his soul. So he just buys like one shade of everything. He doesn't even know what color it
Yeah.
is.
So you've worn many hats on movie sets, between producer, director, actor. What's your favorite role to play on a movie set?
And people ask me this all the time,
Yeah.
and it's weird because I get different I would say joy, different kinds of joy, depending on what I'm doing. So when you're, I'll talk about the actor thing
Okay.
first. I have a cough drop in my mouth now, but I can
Yeah.
talk. So as an actor, I get a lot of pleasure in actually like being those characters because you have to figure out, kind of why the character is doing what they're doing.
Right.
So all this backstory stuff that you have to develop in order to play the character. And then in terms of producing, you get to see it all come together. So it's amazing when you start to see some of the edited footage. I think like Steve Herman, he can see it in his head because he also does the editing.
Yeah.
So he shoots, and I think we're efficient at shooting because he kind of knows like what angles he would want and what coverage he would want. Sometimes when you work with more junior filmmakers, they shoot all the coverage.
Yeah.
Like I'm diverting a little bit, but I did this student film. Well, no, it wasn't a student film. They had just graduated from some film school in the Chicago area.
Okay.
And I was playing a homeless person. I lived in a tent. Okay, so this kid set up it was a largish tent. You could stand up in it and stuff. In his parents' garage with the garage door closed
Hmm.
in August.
Oh my God.
It was hot. It was hot in there.
Yeah.
And he shot coverage of 100% of everybody's lines, like individual coverage. And it's like, you're not, you can't use all that. Like,
Yeah.
you want like some, but I don't think they thought ahead to editing it. And I never have seen a finished product. So I don't know really what happened to that. They were eager to book me for another film, but I don't know if they ever finished that first one.
Yeah.
Um, but I think like as a producer, back to the actual question, as a
Yeah.
producer, particularly in working with Steve, we don't we don't like there's not wasted resources. There we don't have them to waste, so we have to be efficient. But I think it's really cool to actually start to see some of those edited scenes and to see, like when he applies color correction to them and stuff.
Hmm.
They look so cinematic.
Yeah.
They look like the movies that you see from Hollywood in the movie theater. Um, and I know we have, little technical issues here and there sometimes, but we work really hard to create the absolute best that we can, given the resources that we have. We own our own equipment, so it's not like we're wasting money on rentals.
Yeah.
It also lets us know the equipment better. So as a producer, seeing everybody in their specialty kind of come together and collaborate because
Hmm.
ideas will come up on set. Now, you don't want a new idea for every scene or every angle that you're trying to film because you would never finish.
Yeah.
But sometimes just a little mention from somebody here or there would be like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's do it
Hmm.
that way. So I love seeing that collaboration as a producer. As a director, and I've only directed a couple shorts, so it's not like I have,
Yeah.
and I've directed a play. It's not like I have tons of experience, but it's really fun again to kind of pull it together on set. And we don't have the luxury of doing a lot of rehearsals beforehand. We'll do table reads on Zoom, but a lot of times
Yeah.
our talent is not local.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're getting together on a Saturday and running these scenes because we're also not in the location necessarily. So we do take that time to do that on set, but to go from, well, like I have no idea where these people are going to be standing to watching what we just filmed on the monitor is a really cool feeling as a director.
Before we get into talking about the Legend of Tinker can you tell the audience about some of the projects that you've recently created with Acrostar that have come out within the past couple of years?
Oh, okay. The first one where I was producer was Trepidity.
Okay.
That is available on our YouTube channel. It's kind of in between a short and a feature. It's like 40 minutes long.
Okay.
So it's a little awkward in terms of like distribution. So we didn't go for distribution on that one. But it's a really cool story. We've done two 1950s style
Hmm.
sci-fi creature feature type things along the lines of Ed Wood and Roger Corman. One is called It Came From Somewhere,
Okay.
which is my favorite out of the two, and the other is
Yeah.
the sequel, They Came Back From Somewhere. And those were a blast. We tried to make it like they made movies in the 50s. So the acting is a little over the top. The style of the film, it's 4:3 aspect ratio, black and white, kind of
Yeah.
grainy. Um, and we shot it miraculously quickly because they didn't do a lot of coverage back in the day as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
So, for the conversation between the two of us, normally you start with wide shot, establish two of us, go to a little coverage of you, a little coverage of me. We
Yeah.
didn't do all that coverage, because they just didn't do it back then. They had, very limited time and materials to work with. We've got Desperate Souls,
Yep.
which was based on a short story that Steve Herman wrote, that we turned into a feature film. It's a really good film. There's some amazing acting in that, as well as Disremembered is another one of Steve's stories that kind of got expanded to a feature film, and again, incredible acting on
Hmm.
that. Um, the Corn Zombie collection. So we've got Attack of the Corn Zombies, Return of the Corn Zombies, and in July we're filming Revenge of the Corn Zombies. The first one is pretty campy, set in the late 60s, very stereotypical
Yeah.
character types. Um, but it's zombies, so it's violent. And they're corn
Hmm.
zombies because, so there's a backstory to this.
Okay.
So when we were filming, it came from somewhere.
Hmm.
We use a rental house and it's surrounded by cornfields. And so after we're done filming, everybody's kicking around the fire pit, doing some drinking or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and the younger ones start running around in the corn, which is like 12 feet tall. Like it gets really,
Yeah.
really, you realize it got so tall because I've never been close to corn before.
Yeah.
So they start running around making TikToks and stuff in the corn. And then one of them says, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if zombies came out of the corn?" And Steve's like, "Well, you want me to write a movie like that? Would you be interested?" And they're like, yeah. So that's where the idea came for Attack of the Corn Zombies. And they're corn zombies, not just zombies, because the farmers there were having a hard time making enough money, and so
Yeah.
they screwed up the fertilizer, and people ate the corn and then became zombies.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
the makeup on that is really cool. So
Yeah.
we have like there's like kernels of corn stuck on wounds on people's faces, or like corn stalks coming out of people's necks. Just yeah, it's really really cool. So that one was even though there's a lot of death there, it was a little more lighthearted. Some of the character
Hmm.
portrayal. The next one is darker. The whole story is darker. It's more about a survivalist group,
Okay.
but the way they survive is really not very nice.
Okay.
And now the last one is going to be like super apocalyptic. I mean, there's zombies everywhere, and there's something kind of the zombies have kind of changed a little bit, um, which makes them more risky in terms of what the survivors are trying to accomplish.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah, and that one we're actually filming at a haunted sanitarium
Hmm.
in Indiana, which is going to be cool. It's
In
like
where, sorry, did you say?
it's in Indiana.
Oh, Indiana. I thought you said
Yeah, so
Guyana, like the country
oh no,
Guyana. That
that's
would be
probably
crazy.
cough drop. Something. Sorry about that. So it's in like an abandoned tuberculosis
Oh,
hospital.
wow.
So there's a lot of stuff that's still in there because everybody just kind of like evacuated from this hospital. Really, really, really cool setting.
Yeah.
And I think it can be, there's tunnels that go underneath it and stuff. So like
Oh, wow.
there's gonna be a lot of creep factor.
Hmm.
That one. So hopefully a lot of people will want to get on board with
Yeah.
that, because it's fun to be a zombie. I can
Hmm.
speak from experience. It is a lot of fun to be a zombie. Um, and then let's see what other Acrostar projects. Oh, one that was just released, turned over to Bayview, is called Perfect Soul.
Okay.
And so it's based on, I happen to have it right here, the novel by S.J. Herman,
Wow.
Perfect Soul, which you can find on Amazon. Um, and we made the movie poster look, very similar to
Yeah.
the face there. It's about a girl who grows up in a very religious um, town, a religious setting, and turns out that everyone around her is not who they appear to be,
Mm.
or at least not as wholesome as they appear to be.
Okay.
There are some witches that seek revenge, and they get it in a big way.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
so yeah, it's a very dramatic piece. Again, stellar acting in that one. I mean, I am in that one. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
myself. I'm talking about the lead, Chloe Lutz.
Yeah.
Man, she just to audition, she bought the book,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
Yeah.
Um, and so that one should be hitting streaming platforms. It's impossible to determine the time frame because
Yeah,
it's
yeah, for
not
sure.
up to any of us, but
Yeah,
everything got delivered to Bayview last month. And typically it's like a month or two before things start to show up.
yeah.
But we'll keep everybody posted on that on our Facebook group.
Okay.
And I don't think I skipped anything. I think
Is
those,
Night of the Dead Sorority Babes Acrostar as
oh,
well?
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
that's pretty babe.
That's the one
So
I've seen. I haven't seen any of the others, but I'm going to watch them. But I have
yeah.
seen Night of the Dead Sorority Babes, and this is before I met anybody who works. And that one has Mel in it, and
Hmm.
Jessa Flux, and Mischief the Clown. I don't remember her real name, and Angel
Chelsea
Bradford.
lived it, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that was
yourself, of
yeah.
course. Yeah,
Yes. Lynn Lowry and I play
yeah.
the founders of the sorority, and we are not nice people.
No.
It was really a lot of fun working with Lynn on that. She is
Yeah.
so talented. She has so much knowledge.
Hmm.
Like just having a little conversation with her, I learned things about the business.
Yeah.
She is a very good businesswoman as well. So I
Yeah.
mean, she's somebody who kind of, she sees both sides of it, the performance and then the business side of things. But yeah, there's a graphic on our campaign for on crowdfunder
Hmm.
for the Legend of Tinkerhell.
Yeah.
So crowdfunder is CROWDFUNDR. There's no
Yeah.
E at the end. And then if you search for Tinkerhell, there's a graphic in there that has all the titles that Acrostar
Okay.
has.
And I'm going to put the link to the crowdfunder in the description of the video as well, so that people can find it easily, so they don't
Awesome.
have to go and type it and all that business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of The Legend of Tinkerhell, I recently had Mel and Marcus, Mel Heflin and Marcus Cook on the channel, and we were talking about your upcoming film that they're both involved with called The Legend of Tinkerhell. It sounds like a lot of fun, and can you give us a little background on the story? They were kind of limited in what they could say, but you're the boss, so you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, this is another one that was just one of those ideas that Steve Herman got. And I know a long time ago, we also work a lot with Delilah Hefner. I think she's 11 or 12 years old. Um, she is a great actress,
Hmm.
and very dedicated to being an actress. And I know at one point in time, he had asked her what kind of movies he should make. And I think she said one with fairies.
Okay.
Um, and then he came up with Blood Sisters, which is about vampires, but close enough. So I don't know if he remembered that fairy conversation or if it just kind of popped into his head. But
Hmm.
a lot of the Disney stuff is starting to be public domain, and so he thought, well, like what could we fool around with? And the interesting thing from the perspective of making a horror movie is, there are different subgenres to horror,
Yeah.
and then people have certain expectations when you're in a real specific genre, like a slasher
Yeah.
genre. It's going to be
Yeah.
a dude with a knife. Who is he? Who is he? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So this is very different. It is going to be very gory, but she's a fairy,
Yeah.
so you don't hear a chainsaw in the background. There's no knife. There's no axe. Um, she has magic.
Yeah.
And she, as a fairy, she misbehaved in the fairy realm. And
Okay.
so playing the lead fairy, I banish her to the human realm as punishment.
Yeah.
And she decides that if she found a child who wanted her to be her fairy,
Yeah.
that then she could kind of use that child eventually as a slave for her. So she always has bad ulterior motives. Um, and so in the human realm, she's hunting around for a kid to
Hmm.
partner up with. And to show that she's a good fairy to the character Peyton, that's played by Delilah, she decides to help her with problems in her life. And a lot of Peyton's problems come from the fact that her older sister, is kind of mean to her,
Hmm.
typical sibling kind of thing. Mom assigns the older one to do some cleaning tasks, and she's like, no, you do it. Um, so that all seems kind of innocent, except that the way that Ellie decides to help Peyton have a better relationship with her sister
Yeah.
is through murdering people. So and she murders a lot of people, and the deaths are really cool.
Okay.
Um, so therefore, Marcus is on board to make that happen because we wanted it to be very, very visceral, very gory,
Yeah.
and that's right up his alley. And he also knows, again, somebody who thinks beyond just like, what are we going to film?
Yeah.
It's like, what's it going to look like when it's edited? So he's going to have a lot of input in terms of what we do camera wise, lighting wise,
Yeah.
all that stuff so that we get the look that we're after. But yeah, he and Steve are on the same page with what they're
Perfect.
after to get
Yeah.
out of this. And the actors are all cooperative. Nobody minds getting messy. So yeah, that's kind of the legend of Tinkerbell is that she's a bad fairy. And she comes to the human realm and wreaks some havoc, and then eventually kind of gets a little bit of a punishment there toward the end.
So we talked about Delilah Hefner, and we know that Mel Heflin's in it as well.
Mhm.
Who do you have rounding out the cast for this one?
Oh, like I say, it's a long list.
We can
Let me.
stick to the main characters if you want. And if
There's a lot of main characters in the
oh,
challenge.
okay, all right. If Anne misses
But
you here, don't
I'll
worry.
rifle
Yeah.
through them here because I've got my handy dandy
Okay.
spreadsheet. So we have Beth Metcalf, Mel Heflin,
Yeah.
Avery Curtis is a younger actress. Ashley Hefner has a role in addition to being cinematographer. Hunter Redfern, Delilah Hefner, Casey Rhiann. Steve Herman has a role.
Okay.
Chloe Lutz, Julia Nuremberg, Deacon Walter, Leah Tipton, and Caitlin Skinner and her daughter Hadley fill out the main roles. And then we've got some minor roles with Kellen DeRue and Robert Todd Kennedy, Jay Lee Hine, Michelle Hefner, Beatrice Fernando, Lisa Catron and her daughter Adila, and Jonathan Foster.
Are all
So
those
that's
Hefners
yeah,
related?
yeah. Oh wait, a couple new ones that
Okay.
we had a couple roles on Patrick Mona and Daniel Ryan Griesenheim. And then we've got Gaffer Christopher Robin Cook on set with us. And for post-production, we've got Edward Grant doing the composing and
Yeah.
Corey Great doing the post-production sound. So we've got
Excellent.
a big team.
Yeah. Are all those Hefners related?
Yes, they are.
Okay, I figured. It's
Yeah.
kind of an interesting last name to just come across organically three people with the same last name, Hefner.
Yeah. Yeah, and you had asked
Yeah.
Mel and Marcus about whether Steve Herman and Phil Herman are
Yeah.
related. Well, and they are not.
I figured
It's
not.
actually the last
Yeah.
name is spelled differently. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I suspected too. I was being silly there, I guess. Um, so I've heard a lot of buzz about the movie. How's the response been with the crowdfunding that you've done so far?
So we've done two campaigns. We did one back in the fall, and that was with Indiegogo. And we did really well with that one, but not to budget. But we wanted this to be like extreme in
Yeah.
terms of set decoration, effects, all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
We are not able to do extreme. We did not raise funds to that level,
Yeah.
but it's going to be pretty darn good. Um, so I then did a second campaign and this time used crowdfunder because Indiegogo underwent a bunch of platform changes. Basically, they threw away the old platform. They got acquired.
Yeah,
So
okay.
the parent company said, use our platform.
Yeah.
And it's really built for the gaming community and
Uh,
for filmmakers.
yeah.
And there were some things that we did as filmmakers that really were very helpful in terms of encouraging people to participate, and they just weren't available anymore. And then a lot of these platforms, they kind of hold your money hostage for
Hmm.
a very long time. You don't get any funds until the end of the campaign,
Okay.
and then they hold it for a while, just because that's what they do.
To make
And
more
then
interest on
they
it for themselves, I
release,
guess.
I don't know, they're
Yeah.
probably investing it and making
Yeah.
money on it.
Yeah.
And then they hold some more just in case anybody wants a refund. And you have to have no activity on your campaign for
Hmm.
6 months before they will give you the rest of the money.
Really?
They still have some of our money from the
Oh
fall.
my
It
God.
hasn't quite been 6 months yet.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we do the crowdfunding so we can get the money, so we can spend the money
Yeah.
before we go on set. Like you can't wait until after you film to buy production insurance.
Yeah.
No, you have to buy it ahead of time
Hmm.
to book the location. They want you to pay for it ahead of time.
Yeah.
So the timing is very difficult.
Yeah.
Um, but crowdfunder
Yeah.
I was Googling around because I'm like, oh my God, I hate Indiegogo now. Um, they give you the money right away.
Mm.
Like
All
it's
right.
nuts. So yeah, you can buy the props and spend money on wardrobe and
Yeah.
stuff as you are getting it. And it's not like we're not going to do the movie. So I mean, there's
Right.
risk, so crowdfunding is not a guaranteed thing.
Right.
You're supposed to provide your perks. A lot of our perks are not physical. They are things like IMDb credits or a
Yeah.
role in the film, stuff like that. I do those like I try to do them the same day that I get the contribution.
Yeah.
Um, and then I have to double check because sometimes IMDb just like doesn't give you the credit for some reason.
Mm.
Um, so you have to double check on things, but also humans make mistakes. So if I miss one, I always try to ask people to look at the IMDb for the film and
Yeah.
make sure I put your credit out there. Um, so there, with our stuff, I think we have credibility that we actually finish the films that we
Hmm.
start. Um, but there are folks that have been burned by crowdfunding, and the film never got finished. Now, if that were to happen with one of ours, let's say something terrible happened, we couldn't film The Legend of Tinkerbell, and
Yeah.
then we were like never going to do it.
Yeah.
Communication is the key. I would communicate with all of the people who supported the film and say,
Hmm.
okay, here's what's going on. Be very upfront with it. I mean, it's just they're facts at that point in time, and then
Yeah.
there are options, kind of thing. So either, if we know we're going to make the movie later this year, is it okay if we keep the money and then apply it
Yeah.
to film later in the year, or would you like a refund? I mean, everybody's entitled to a refund. So our big thing is that we communicate well with people.
Right.
Uh, so I would just say if folks are considering contributing to crowdfunding, just do a little research on who's behind it,
Right.
because really you're buying into the people behind it. And yeah, it's a specific movie, and you should have a credit. And God forbid, like you don't get a credit in the actual film. Let's say I have it on IMDb and then for some reason it doesn't make it into the film. Like we try to check that stuff so carefully. I
Yeah.
build the credit list from the IMDb page and I copy and I paste it and turn it into a format that Steve can put into the film.
Hmm.
Like, and then when I review the film, I look to make sure
Well,
I
that's
got
good.
everybody's name in there. Like I actually like freeze the screen and my list kind of thing. So we do
That's
try to
good.
be very, very careful about it.
Being that detail oriented is very good because some people aren't. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And the credits are a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
But they're an important part of the film. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what made the film come to life. So it's less fun
Yeah.
than the visuals and the actual video itself, but
Yeah.
it's an important part.
So the crowdfunding, as we mentioned, is still going. The crowdfunder is open. You can still
Mhm.
contribute to it. You don't need to be worried, though, the movie is going to get made unless, there's a natural disaster or something like that, God forbid.
Right,
But
right.
the movie is going to get made, so you can go and contribute to that crowdfunder and feel confident that the movie's going to get made. Because like Ann said, and like I've said before with these other things, sometimes it doesn't happen. And yeah. How is the production coming along? From what I understand, you're going to be filming soon.
Yes, we're filming the first week of May for 9 days. We've got many things happening at the same time, mostly prep with wardrobe, props, set
Yeah.
decoration type of stuff. I've got the filming schedule. I need to convert it to call sheets.
Yeah.
Um, but we try to make the schedule easy for everybody. We do have
Mhm.
some exterior night scenes, but we're old, so we don't like to stay up all night long making a
Yeah.
movie. So we try to, get everything prepped so that once it's dark enough, we can go.
Yeah.
And then, maybe we'll go till, 11 or midnight or whatever, but we're
Yeah.
not staying up all night long to film
Uh,
because then it kind of ruins you for the next day. So
exactly.
sometimes the interior scenes, if they are night scenes, we can black out windows and stuff,
Yeah.
make it, kind of fake night for day. But yeah, yeah, it's just getting the call sheets to everybody. Everybody knows like what the addresses are, when they need the days they need to be there, all that kind of stuff. I just need
Yeah.
to make it pretty. And then do that inventory of all those props and set decoration stuff.
All right. So the next big project after Tinker Hill is Corn Zombies 3, or is there something in between?
That's the next Acrostar
Okay.
one. Um, so yes, it'll be called Revenge of the Corn Zombies,
Yeah.
and we will be crowdfunding that as well.
Yeah.
And we are hoping to launch that campaign before the end of April.
Okay.
Before the end of April. Um, with that one, we need to, so I did location scouting for that one,
Hmm.
um, knowing that we wanted a real destructed kind of look
Yeah.
to the location. So checked out a couple of different places, and then hopefully this weekend, Steve Herman and I will go and actually pick like what room is so and so's bedroom.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. In
you
in
know,
this sanitarium.
yes, because
Yeah.
I think that building is 15,000 square feet. It's huge.
Yeah.
4 floors, like we're not gonna have time on set to wander around the building thinking, oh, this looks like it could be so and so's bedroom. Oh
Yeah.
no, wait, how about this room? Like we need to have that nailed down ahead of time.
Right.
And there's also going to be some involvement from a paranormal investigation group
Okay.
called Spiritual and Haunted. They are actually having an investigative um, exploration over the weekend while we're there.
Hmm.
So they'll be using the building at night. We'll be using on those days, we'll be using the building during the day, but
Yeah.
then we're hoping that some of their attendees might be interested in being
Oh,
zombies
yeah, that's
or,
cool.
or residents, so we need extras in the scene. So maybe
Yeah.
they'll, drop in a day ahead of time or stay a day later or whatever, so that we could do some filming with those folks.
I think that you'll definitely get some takers there for sure.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
Now, what about upcoming Ann Myrna projects and not necessarily Acrostar? Do you have anything coming up for you?
I just got cast in something called Top Hat, and that will
Yeah.
film in South Carolina, probably late summer.
Yeah.
We don't have any specifics on that yet. I'm in the process of working with a gentleman named Jamie Schmidt on a feature of his that I'm filming this weekend in Iowa, at least a part of it.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm doing a commercial also in Iowa
Wow.
next week for a credit union. Yeah, I've never been to Dubuque, Iowa before,
Yeah.
and I'm going twice in one week,
Wow.
which is kind of weird. But um, I think those are the big things because I work with a gentleman named Chris Shern on something called Hug These Bones, which is a feature. I'm wrapped on that.
Okay.
Uh, I just did a quick scene with a guy named Dre Boyd, who's local to my area. Um, and I'm wrapped on that project. So yeah, there's little things here and there. And then
Yeah.
it should be, I don't normally produce for other folks other than Acrostar because it is
Yeah.
very, very time consuming. But we've got a project in the works with somebody who is well known in the horror industry,
Yeah.
but we haven't announced that yet.
Okay. Still
Mum's
secret.
the word, mum's the word on that one until
Yeah.
we're ready.
Perfect. So, are you ready for, everybody loves this, the lightning round?
Sure.
Okay. All right, Anne. Let's do the lightning round. So, these are quick questions and just answer whatever pops into your head. Okay?
Okay.
What's your favorite Universal monster?
Godzilla.
Godzilla. Okay. Favorite band or musical artist?
Oh, it's really hard. I like so much different kind of music. Um, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Okay. Toilet paper roll. Business in the front or party in the back? Do you have it hanging over the top or hanging back behind?
Business in the front.
All right. You know what? Nobody's answered that wrong. Somebody did almost answer it wrong once. And I
But
like to.
yeah, I won't necessarily change it if I'm in somebody's house and it's the other way. Like I'm not that
Oh,
extreme.
well, I'll change it. And Marcus had the judicious answer of on the top of the tank behind. And that
Oh,
works
there you
too.
go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and some I have seen like toilet paper roll holders that are vertical. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah.
yeah. That's more of a left-right question, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Ninjas or pirates?
Ninjas.
All right. Weapon of choice in the zombie apocalypse?
Machete.
Machete? Makes
Yeah.
sense. You don't have to worry about ammunition, right? Yeah. Marvel, DC, or other, if you're a comic book person.
I'm not a comic book
Okay.
person.
That works. That's fine.
Yeah.
Adult beverage of choice.
Um, I'll drink a beer. I
Beer?
mean, yeah,
Okay.
as long as I'm not too full, then I'll resort to hard alcohol if I'm really full. Basically, I'll drink anything. Let's just
Okay.
say
Yeah. Cats, dogs, or other.
no cats.
Cats? Okay. Cat person. All right. Do you have a favorite video game?
No.
No? Okay. That's all right. Favorite television show of all time?
Oh, geez. Oh my God, I have no idea.
Hmm.
Um, I'm trying to think of stuff I used to watch religiously of all time.
Yeah,
Ugh.
of all time.
Let's say Gilligan's Island. I mean, it popped into my head. I
That's
don't
because
know
we
that
were
that's
talking about it in the interview with Marcus and Mel. Or no, no, you haven't seen what I was talking about the skipper with yet. Never mind. Um, yeah, it was. I was doing a show with somebody, and we were talking about how people used to look so much older in the 70s and 80s than they do now, in the respect that the skipper, Alan Hale Jr., was
Mhm.
42 when he was playing the skipper on that show. And
Oh
he looked
wow.
like he was in his 60s, which is
Oh,
unbelievable. Like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm 7 years older than the skipper, which is crazy.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Favorite snack?
Uh, Fritos. I'm
Okay.
trying to keep back.
And what is your favorite movie of all time? Doesn't have to be horror.
Oh, that's really hard because things are good for different reasons.
Yeah. It can be nostalgia, it can be anything.
Um, oh my God, I don't know what to say. Um, I mean, I would say like impactful, The Exorcist.
Okay.
Yeah,
We can
like
go with
that
that one.
that sticks with you.
Okay. And now you've survived the lightning round. The lightning round is now over.
I can relax.
You can relax now. So I wanted to thank you, Anne, for being on the program. Our timing worked out. We were able to get this scheduled on short notice, like really short notice, and I couldn't be happier about it. It just so happens that I had some time off and you were available, so off we go. Tinker Hell sounds like an awful lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what else you guys have cooking. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you, Ben. It really was fun.
Yeah. If anyone in the industry happens to be watching this and they want to get in contact with you, how can they go about that?
You can find me on social media if you just search for my name.
Yeah.
My profiles are public, and so you can hook up with me that way.
Perfect. Well, thank you again for coming on, and we will see you soon. And hopefully, we'll see you'll get some more crowdfunding for the Legend of Tinkerhell, and we can make an awesome production.
All right. Thank you, Ben.